What's going on, guys? It is Zuko, and we are going to be making another video here talking about some more MK tech. I'll do a little bit of a recap on everything that went on in the first one, so that way for the people who didn't watch it, you're not going to be behind. And if you like what I'll show you, then just go check that one out as well. But the first thing we're going to talk about is thing that you want to do in general is go straight to your settings and go to gameplay, and you want to make sure that offline input delay is on. A lot of this stuff will not correlate well into online gameplay if you do not have that setting on. So that's like the first thing. So then we'll just kind of do a quick recap of everything that we talked about in the first one, and yeah, cool. All right, double kung lao, whatever. So we'll do a quick recap just so that way everyone can be caught up, so it's not like whatever. So the first thing that we talked about was like up blocking projectiles and overhead mix. So basically let's go ahead and make this. Like that, you can punish overhead projectiles like that. Also, let's say there's a string. Let's go ahead and just switch sides here. And then we'll make him do the string here. If it's normally plus, right? As you can see, +2. You up block it. You can now punish it. So yeah, that's another thing we talked about. We talked about using Kameos to tank a hit. So I'll just go ahead and showcase that. Like so, throwing them out there, and you can kind of like throw it out, let him eat the hit, and then you can still punish. Even though, so it's like you place him out preemptively, so that way you can use him kind of like armor. We talked about that. Go ahead and just make him neutral. We talked about basically like buttons, block buttons. So like stagger string here, block stagger string. Even though he's not really someone that you would do it with. Let me actually just switch over again. So let's say we talked about this block. That we talked about the benefits of doing that. Then we talked about the same thing, except now you're doing throw tech. So you like dodge, crouch, buffered into buttons again. So it's like that. Hopefully you guys can see my inputs there. All right. We talked about making sure that if you're negative, you don't get opened up by a throw by doing this. And then also adding a button impress at the end, so that way if it does hit, then you're going to be in block stun, and you're not going to let the 1-2 come out. And if you don't do the button, then like nothing's going to come out. But the timing for that is very strict, but once you get it right, you can pretty much get that pretty consistent. So yeah, cool. So we talked about that. We also talked about like back dashing or forward dashing when minus or plus, so that way you can kind of make yourself have a little bit more of a frame advantage. That's a whole lot that goes into that. We talked about like frame abusing, like abusing your frame. So let's say you have a move that is minus 4 or whatever on block, but if you don't press at the earliest possible frame, then your opponent really it's like as if it's plus in a way, or if they're respecting a stagger or something like that. And we talked about frame traps, all that good stuff. We talked about micro ducking, so that way if I'll make him do reversal. Hold on, let me get this right. Cool. And he's set to do that on reversal, so we'll go ahead and put him in this mode, and here reversal on cardinal nav. So then whenever I set him to do this, he's going to do that. So that way you can like do something like that, right? So you can micro duck. That's pretty much what that is. So we talked about micro ducking. We also talk about unblock duck tech for ability to be able to make things whiff. So let's say, oh yeah, it's him. All right, cool. So let's say you jump over and do that. You can do that, so that way you can kind of like punish in between and make that always whiff. So those are kind of some of the things that we talked about in the first one, and a bunch of other things as well. I kind of made that one pretty long. I wanted to make this one a little bit shorter. So let's kind of get started with the first thing here. So let me just go ahead and reset. Alright, so I'm gonna be using Raiden to kind of do a little bit of a showcase, and then I'll use Liu Kang for certain scenarios as well. Um, hmm. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. Cool. We'll start it off with this. I'm gonna be going through the menus a lot, so if you can't keep up, then cool. If you need to pause it, then pause it. But we're going to be kind of going a little bit faster here. So I just wanted to kind of first, before I go over anything else in this video, I wanted to first kind of start off with startup, active, recovery, block, advantage, hit advantage, cancel advantage, and what all of that means. So cancel advantage is basically like if you like use a move, let's say there's a move in the air and like you have to cancel it, it'll tell you like how negative or how plus you are if you cancel that button, and that's how you find it out. There's also another way to test like how good your cancel advantage is. You can set them to block everything and then jump on immediately, so you can like go in here and put their block mode or their movement type to just jump, right? And so that way like you gel them and then put them on block all. Oh, not auto, I'm tripping. Put them on block all, and then like you see who jumps first. That'll how you know if you're negative or minus. That's another way to like test it out in case you guys didn't know. So yeah, that's another way to see if you're plus or if you're minus. Whoever jumps first, that's the one who's plus in that situation. So that's how you know what cancel advantage is. Hit advantage is basically if this hit, you're plus 18. So this is really good whenever you're trying to do throw tech. So that way if you just like throw a button out, right? Or if you like let a button go like this, right? In between that, if they do tech, or let's say you mistime something, you can know if this button here is going to be hit advantage 2, this one here is hit advantage 11. So you want to like throw tech with that button, or let's say this button here is 8, and then this button here is all going to send them all the way. So like you're going to know which ones you're going to want to throw in case you're trying to take a throw, that kind of deal. So that's kind of what hit advantage means. It also means that like, let's say there's like a really good mix-up you have. Let's say there's like this 19 button, right? And then you have this 15, right? So that is going to be fuzzyable because again, there's like a +3 difference. So it's going to be a hard fuzzy, but you can still do it. But because there's a +3 difference, because this one is 15 frames and this one is 19 frames, then that means that it is fuzzyable. And since there's really 4 frames that you have to like fuzzy it, then you're going to be good. But if you wanted to make this 19 to be like guaranteed to hit on wake up or offer something, you find a button that is like around that same frame. So that means you can do this before they can press anything. You can go ahead and do that. So it's like gonna like basically interrupt their armor or something like that. So I'll put him on auto, and then we'll set him to do reversal mode on let's see here, where is it at? I think it's Dragon Tail. I think that's what it is, right? Let me just make sure. Wait, am I tripping? Reversal mode? Oh, it's, yeah, reversal mode. I'm tripping. Alright, basically, like, I'll set him to... Okay, that's the wrong one. I'll just set him to do this. Block, and then punish. Or... how do I want to do it? I'll set him to block and then with armor. Cool. Yeah, all right. So basically, we're going to be talking about like how you can basically like hit a button like this, right? See like right there. Cool. Now he notice how this doesn't work, right? And that's because this button is -3. But let's say that landed, right? Now he basically like has to respect that overhead because my hit advantage was +19 or +18, whatever it was. So that means that if you have a really bad button, but you get like a lot of like guaranteed pressure off of it. So for example, let's say if you're using Lee May and you wanted to use her back 3 to her 4, then that will allow for you to basically really kind of make it to where they have to respect that button. This is also the case with gelling. So for example, this is +12. So let me just go ahead and turn that off as well. Sorry about that. Since this is +12, that means any button that you have that would be like, you know, not a good button or whatever, you can kind of like gel into that immediately. You can kind of make them guaranteed, if that makes sense. So like this is +12, this is +13, And let's see here. That one's plus 15. So if you land your plus 15, that means you can gel it into like not that one. You can gel it into that. So like, let's see here. If that would reach, you'll be able to gel it because of your hit advantage here. So anytime you get hit advantage, basically keep in mind of like how big that number is, and then you'll be able to see exactly like where you want that button to go or what buttons you can gel with after that. So that means like you can gel into this, so like you can do that and then make this a mid basically, right? That means if they try to duck right here, that wouldn't be able to duck. So I'll show you like what that means. So like I'll put him on duck, which means he's automatically going to duck anything I throw, and then I'll just put him on auto block. So yeah, he's automatically going to duck the first thing that I throw. So let's say I do this, he wouldn't be able to duck that. So see what I'm saying? And that's because it's gelling him. It's basically making highs, mids, and that allows for them not to move. So that's very important to know as well. So it's just kind of like the basic stuff with hit advantage and what you can do with it. Block advantage, we all kind of, you know, have a knowledge of what that does. It's basically you kind of, if they block the attack, that's how plus or minus you're going to be. And I talk more about like frames and like how it's the game's like active, so frames don't matter that much, but you just need to know like it's more of like a concept than it is an actual law for MK games, especially when there's online latency. But cool. Startup is basically how long it takes for your move to get active, and then active is actually like how many frames that it is active. So let's say like this has 4 active frames, right? Which means that for 9 frames it's not active, right? That's how long it takes for the move to come out. Then it has 4 frames of active frames, which means that for 4 frames it's gonna hit anything that's in its vicinity. And then recovery is basically if it whiffs, if it doesn't touch anything, then that's how much recovery you have after that move, which is basically you can consider it like hit advantage or block advantage, just negative in that case. Basically how many recovery frames you have. So that's pretty much like what that chart at the bottom is meaning, and the more knowledge you get on what that's doing to the game, the better off you're going to be at like finding setups, finding things that like can't be escaped, finding like certain gels with certain cameos that just make it to where this is now guaranteed pressure where there's no way for you to press a button, or also armor breaking setups, which we'll talk about later as well. So that's to kind of explain the basic stuff. Let's get immediately into the stuff that's really important, which is flawless blocking to make negative things super punishable and to show competence also, and also to make it to where they can't special cancel. So for example, let's say you have this, right? Let's say if you're going against a person who likes doing hold on, my fault. Let's say you're going against a person who likes to do something like this, right? Right, they like doing that. That's pretty like I'll try to poke between that. Can't poke in between that, right? Or let's say they want to do the armored version, right? It's pretty nasty, but if you learn to just, you know, flawless block it, it'll be able to take away their ability to special cancel certain things. Not in this case, that's very like character specific in certain ways, but for the most part you can flawless block certain things, and it'll make it to where hold on, let me just do this really quick, put them close. It can make it to where basically certain things are not punishable pretty much, like they can't special cancel out of certain things. So yeah, that's like one usage for flawless blocking. Another usage for flawless blocking is actually going to be cool. We'll do this, and then we'll do this. I'm tripping. So this string, if you see it, it's +3. Now if I go ahead and flawless block it, it's easy to flawless block whenever. There we go. Now it's -7, which means you take your turn back. Now, this is one of those situations like there's really not a benefit for flawless blocking that because it's a high anyway, so you can always interrupt. But if you wanted a safer option without you having to press a button, if they try to like backdash out of that or something like that, then you have that option as well. So flawless blocking is not as good as it used to be in other MKs, but you still can use it to kind of like show competence for like certain strings. They'll be like, dang, this dude's flawless blocking. It's going to like kind of intimidate them, so you can use it as an intimidation factor, even though it's not as useful as it used to be. But if there's something that if you flawless block it, it'll make it negative to where you can punish, definitely you want to learn that about this game. And also to where you can make certain things not special cancelable, and that's also good as well. But those are very, very niche situations, and normally like patch notes will like tell you what they're changing whenever it comes to that kind of thing. So yeah, we already talked about like up block projectile punishes. Let's talk about using ambush teleports to become plush during throw attacks or negative situations. So this is like one of the things that's really, really cool that I found out. So let me just make sure I'm using the correct one. All right, so let me switch back to him. And we're basically gonna go ahead and do that, right? So if you're the one who's basically trying to take a throw, right, it's gonna be in a situation to where like you can only initiate this like whenever like you're the one that's initiating it. So you see how I'm pressing my RB and nothing's happening, right? This is only going to work if you're the one initiating it, so please be like paying attention to that. Now if you do it at the exact same time, you can like get a watch. I'll show it here. See. I'll try to get exactly the right timing, like right there, and it'll say like throw escape. I'm trying to get it like exact frame. Nope. Let me just make his, let me make this better because it really isn't that bad. Right there. So you can do something like that with it, but it's really like something that's more for the offensive player. So I'll just go ahead and put him on to do something like this. Cool. Alright. Okay, he's gonna take. And then you can basically like steal some plus frames off of that, right? Something like that. So that's a really cool situation that you can do, and you can only do that with the Kung Lao Kameo. So basically like you can use your throw, and even if they like teched it, they're still in a negative situation. And you can also do this like really early, right? So it kind of like escapes the idea of like someone like, you know, having to like oh, like you're not resetting neutral at that point. I'm putting pressure on you. So that's a really cool thing that you can do with the Kung Lao Kameo. You can also do this when like there are certain negative situations as well, but I think that's kind of like self-explanatory. But it's really only if you initiate or if you time that one together to where you can get a escape, and also you can kind of like switch sides. You can use that for like many different things. So it's just like a little cool little thing that you can do. And let's talk about mainly about armoring through gaps. So let's find a character that some people struggle against, keyword some people, and then show you that you can honestly like auto neutral a lot of these characters. So let's just use this character for example. And we'll use a newbie character that people struggle against. So this is a situation to where like if you know what you're doing or learning these spots, you really kind of make people get really, really scared. So for example, let's see here. Let's do this. So I think it's, oh, it's this one? I forgot what's his button. Is it this? Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. And then I'll make that a little bit better. Cool. So you can obviously just up block that. So you can like just up block that and then punish that, right? There's also another way to do it. You can just like simply that and then like armor through a lot of their stuff. Now there are very specific spots in this game, and it all depends on, again, your frame data. Like how quickly you can get stuff out, but for the most part you can just like armor through a lot of gaps in strings. So if there's a string that like just is like like a neutral string or whatever, you can just literally armor through. Now I know this is one example, but I would highly recommend you literally go through every character and set them to stack, basically like do a string, and then you literally time your armored move in between all of those, so that way you know what strings you can and cannot cancel, and if there's a mix up, if you do or you don't, if they can like kind of punish you in between that. That is very, very important, because what that opens up is it opens up the ability for you to basically, like, let's say he just threw his 3 and he's expecting you to armor, you could just buttons, or he's expecting you to armor, so he's gonna like jump over, and then you can just like wait anti-air, or you can just like dash forward, or you can dash backwards, and it makes it to where they lose a lot of the pressure because they're afraid of the armor. Now armor is like very simple in this game, and it's very effective because it starts at the earliest possible frame. It starts in your startup frames, not your active frames, which makes it very, very good. So literally you have free reign to use armor like in between the character strings, and the more strings you realize that you can do this on, it'll completely change like how you play the game. And I just wanted to show it with Smoke, because a lot of people don't realize like how easy it is to kind of auto neutral that character. Now that character's still god tier, you just have to be very smart, but yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that with Smoke, because a lot of people like struggle against him, and he's really like, give me free punishes please. Like his kit is so punishable, so you really have to play off of that, and you have to be a big brain in order to make him work at a high level. Let's talk about armor breaking setups. So let's use a character who has like a very good armored like move, and we'll kind of go over that. So let's see, how do I want to do this? We're gonna do it like this. So this is very important to know, and again, this is something that's not exclusive to a Kung Lao cameo, but it is something that is a very cool thing that you can do with a lot of cameos. You just have to like kind of know what you're doing with it. We'll talk about it a little bit more, but basically we're gonna set him to do get up mode. We're gonna put him on, then we're gonna make him do his Shaolin shimmy. So this is his armored move. So basically, if I do this, he's gonna do his double armored, and obviously you know that he can go that into Goro or whatever to get like a combo. A lot of people are scared of that. Now what you can do is you can do something like this. Put yourself in a like this. Put yourself in an unsafe situation. So if they don't like block it, see what I'm saying? Like if they don't block that, then they kind of get put in this setup. Or if they do block it, you can just let that fly to where they can't punish you anyway. And I'll show you like basic, like we'll make them block all. So like, see what I'm saying? And then it's like there's no downside. It's just free like mind game. So like here, and then now you can like go back into your jump, or you can even like let that sit a little bit longer, like that. Try to catch and punch, and you're a little bit more plus, so you can do that as well. But we'll put them on auto block here, and then we'll kind of go into it. So let's say you get this and this lands. That's what you're gonna get if you time it wrong, right? But if you time it right, it's gonna look like this. Oh, I messed it up. Right now, that's me just kind of making this a little basic setup. But if you want to like kind of like really, hold on, let me get it right. Oh, there we go. As you can see, so you basically brought someone to end of life from this mix-up, pretty much. So let's say this is like a in the corner, bring them to the corner, touch of that type of situation, leading into all kind of pressure. And it all of that damage started from me just doing this and immediately pressing after that. So like you can literally do this and then press, and then again you kind of just like play off of it. So like you do it immediately, and then like yes, you know what I'm saying? Like, so if it's breaking armor, then that means this is like guaranteed you have to hold that. So like there's nothing you can do about that. You can't armor through it, you can't jump over it, you can't do anything. You're gonna have to hold that because it's hitting you the moment that you wake up. Now you can delay wake up, but I'll show you what happens if you delay wake up as well. So we'll put that on. So it kind of makes it to where it's a little bit more susceptible, right? but you still have to eat that overhead. Now they can punish in between that, so that is cool. So yeah, that's like the only option that you have. But then it's like, okay, if you start doing that, then it's like, okay, you can react to the delay. Like, I'll show you. The moment you see delay, you can be like, okay, well, I'll go ahead and do this now. Right? You can kind of not necessarily react, but you can kind of like play off of that and then keep your mix-ups for that after that. So this is like a very, very good thing that you can do. And you can do this with a lot of characters. Just kind of like a, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do something mad unsafe, so that way if you do block it, I can still get pressure off of it. For example, this character, because it kind of sends them back a little bit, right? Even though it's minus 19, it sends them back. Then you have to worry about the low hat coming in as well, which is going to be, you know, pretty plus from that far out. And then me going back into my pressure. So there's no downside to using it. So it's just a free setup thing that you can do. And I call this armor breaking setups. And a lot of characters have this. So once you guys kind of get in the lap with your character, you're going to find a lot of situations where this actually does happen. So just kind of going over some more tech that we have here. You also have the ability to use ambushes for like safe cross-ups and unconvertible anti-airs, and also like unpunishable like up blocks or whatever. So I'll just go ahead and make the bot do it, so that way it'll be a little bit easier. So cool. And then I actually make him do this. Yeah, I'll actually leave it like that, and then I'll just put us close. Cool. Okay, now since we're close, let me go ahead and do it like, yeah, okay, cool. That'll work. Alright. I didn't get the button out my phone. Okay, I didn't expect it to work right there. It didn't do it again. That's a tragedy. Cool. And notice how I can't punish that. See what I'm saying? Now, this is one scenario. If I use Liu Kang, matter of fact, I can even switch this up and use this with, yeah, we'll switch it up here. And I'll show you guys this with the other character doing it. Oh, wrong side, sorry. Alright. See, still no punish, right? So it can make certain things that are up block, you know, punishable, not punishable anymore, just by doing these little safe cross-up options. Now, the reason why I say this is effective is because the moment, I'll just go ahead and do this, the moment that this comes out, you can immediately like kind of like break armor with this. So like, right, since this is a button that is there, you can obviously let that go and then follow it up with whatever, right? And then it just breaks armor. So for example, I'll just go ahead and make the AI do this. Hold on. What the heck? There we go, something like that, right? It's too early. Let's see. Cool. His kind of brings you up a little bit, but basically the concept is, if you have someone who's trying to do an armor move with you while you have your low hat out, you can kind of take away their ability to kind of do anything, because you can like basically like mix two things at the same time, like how you just saw, and the armor breaks whenever it gets 2 hits at the same time, or 2 hits. Basically armor only takes 1 hit. The second hit will always break the armor. So like, this is a very good armor breaker. Hold on. Sorry about that. This is a very good armor breaker because you're getting hits from that. So anything that has like multiple hits, it's just going to be very good at breaking armor. So just kind of keep that in mind whenever you're kind of doing your thing with your characters. So like in that situation, it doesn't break armor because, you know, those second hits aren't counting. But let's say if there's like that with another button at the same time, you can kind of make it to where armor can be ignored. So one of those situations is, for example, basically this. Let's say if you do this, that's just one button, right? But if you sit there and hold it, you'll break armor. And if you do that at the earliest possible frame, they actually can't escape that. If you do that at the earliest possible frame, you can use the sound cues to learn it, or you can just like have a reaction time and then like wait, or you can kind of like get muscle memory down for when it is. But or you can even find like visual cues for it. That's the slow one, but you can also do that, so that way you can make this kind of like, let's say if they got opened up by that and you wanted to like put them in a situation where you're going to be plus, and also if they try to armor, they can't escape it, so it's just free. There's stuff that you can do like that as well, and that's basically, you know, just that kind of thing that you have going for you. So yeah, next up, let's talk about using cameos on Wakeup. They can get hit and you can take damage, but you can still be unpunishable in certain scenarios, if that makes sense. So for example, I'll just set him to do that, and then you can do something like that, right? Now that little yellow part, that means that it's like you're like invincible in that moment, so you can kind of like ignore a hit or whatever. So let's say I'll make him do this, and then I'll make him do that, or I'll make him do this, then I'll make him do I don't want to do this. I'll do this, and I'll make him do that. So you ignore that hit, right? So that's pretty much what that is. Every character kind of has that. It's basically like the MK1 like invincible wake up, except that if they like stuff it with buttons, like so if they do something like this. See what I'm saying? If they hit you with a combo move or a button in between that, you're gonna get interrupted. So, but it's kind of like a lesser or a weaker version of what you could do in MK11. So very, very cool. Just know that that's a situation that can kind of like really help you out, if that makes sense. And it allows for you to kind of play a little bit more. So let's say I'll go ahead and show you something. All right. So it's basically like this same idea, but you can use it as a defensive mechanic, or you can use it as an offensive mechanic. So I'll show you what it's like if you're using it as the aggressor, or if you're using this as a person who's trying to like stop someone, if that makes sense. So like, let's say, let me just go ahead and pretend I'm him. Cool. And then we'll also do this. All right. And then let's say, I don't want to do this. Let's say I just swept this person. Yeah, I'll do it like this. I'll actually do it like this. And I'll go here. So let's say I just did this. And then I wanted to kind of keep my pressure going right there, right? Let's say that's the case. If that is the case, there are a few ways that you can do that. So you can either sit there and do this, and then like try to press right there. But again, Liu Kang's very, you know, he's very stubby, so you're not going to reach for something like that. I mean, you can like double dash if you wanted to, but I mean, at the end of the day, you're really not going to get anything from that. That's just kind of how it works. Or you can do something like this. I hate that that's a thing. You can do something like this. You can also do something like that. Now, that's me purposely having bad timing, because it's like you're giving them time to see what they're doing on Wake Up if you're a smart player, but you can also, we'll do it for like the earliest time in that as well. I messed that up. Let's do it again. Alright, so I'll just go ahead and get opened up by the first one. Try to press buttons right there, right? Let me just put this on random. Hidden. So let's say someone's, you know what I'm saying, like right there. Let's say they do that, whatever. Or they do that, right? Right, so again, you know, they get hit. Gonna kind of like, you know what I mean? So this is like the situation where no matter what's going on, you're just gonna get like kind of deleted right there, right? So one thing you can do is as a aggressive person, if you want to make this a little bit safer without having to get yourself out there, you can do something like this. So let's just go ahead and I'll go ahead and delete these, and we'll keep this first one here. You can do something like this. Why did it not come on? That's very weird. And then like basically play off of that, right? Now, the reason why this is good, because if you pay attention to what I said in my first video about like how just because something is negative doesn't mean that it's like gonna matter. Do they have something that can punish you within those frames? What's the distance? What's the space in between you and the player? If there's a lot of space, then they're not probably going to be able to punish that, especially, you know, the lower the frames are. Again, if you have a button that's minus 100, you don't have a teleport or something like that, if it's literally in their face and you press the button, it makes you minus 100, but it sends you full screen, guess what? People are probably not going to be able to punish you. I'm sorry, if they don't have something that travels that far in a certain amount of frames. So again, this is one of those things where you can kind of do it just to see, right? Now that's like the only thing that they can do to get out of that. But let's say they try to do this. Now they just get combo punished for that. So again, it kind of gives you the same thing about you having to be as risky. So again, it's kind of like if they do something, you can react to it. So now let's basically do that, but in a format of me being the person that's doing that. So I'll basically just delete all of these. I'll do it like this now, and we'll also switch sides for the sake of like it looking the same visually. And then we're going to basically put this dummy on get up mode on, and then we're going to put them on sorry about that. Wait, did I do this right? Yeah, I did do this right. Okay, so we're basically gonna do this in a form of like me being here. I'm like having a brain fart right now, sorry. I think this is what I'm looking for. Yeah, cool. So on, and then yeah. Sorry, I was having a whole moment right there. Anyways, so now we're basically gonna make it to where he's gonna be the one that's like getting in between that or whatever. And so we're gonna get this first one to hit here. So like right there. So like right there, that's what I'm expecting him to do, right? Now, if let's say he waited on that or something like that, right? Kind of brings back into the first like idea that we talked about before. Now again, the quicker someone's summon is, the better off this is going to be. But this is kind of like a proof of concept type of deal. So if you could like be able to recover enough to where you can block, then your Kameo is going to eat that hit. So let's say we're going to make him do the exact same thing now. So instead he beats the button. So like this. Let's say he like went, there was a certain like Kameo where he would like go through that button pretty much, right? To where he would like interrupt it, if that makes sense. And then like he's able to get that button off, then you can still block. The Kameo is going to take the hit, but you can still block, basically using it as armor, kind of, if that makes sense. Now kind of like armor against armor, their armor is always going to win, but it's just like a concept to where if you know that you can get this button out and it forces them to armor wake up, then that allows for you to kind of put yourself in a situation to where if your summons or your ambush is fast enough, you can immediately just make them do something, take a little bit of chip or a little bit of damage, and then punish them for doing something unsafe. So that's basically using Kameos on Wake Up, or using Kameos for their Wake Up attacks if you feel like they're going to do something. Especially the Kung Lao one. The Kung Lao one is really good because it gets sent out very, very far. And look at the active frames. That's 15 active frames with a 23 startup. So again, how we talked about active frames, that means for 15 frames it's going to be active, which means they have to hold all of that, which means if you like knock someone down, this is your Wake Up. Like that's, you don't have to get in their face, you don't have to worry about anything that they do. For example, let's say he woke up and he did what's one I'm looking for? Is it spin? Yeah, it's spin. I think that's what it is. So let's say I did that and I hit him with this. He did spin, right? Now his beat mine because his has the little invincibility thing going for him. But as you can see, like right there, all those active frames, that all means something because it's like the game trying to let you know that that move is active even still. So it's whichever one has active frames first, that's the one that's gonna like basically win it. So that's kind of like how that works. So it's like, again, you kind of like don't have to get yourself in the mix, and you just send it out, and then that's kind of it. You get what I'm saying? So like, so hopefully you guys see what I mean by that. You can use cameos for wake ups, or let's say if you're a stubby character, you can send it out, and if they don't have a button that can punish you from like out here, which is -19, if they can't punish you from that range where we are right now, then guess what? You just reset neutral, or like you got them, like you gave them one dash up. That's it. So like you can do that and then immediately go into something, or you can like backdash and then like try to like play off of whatever they're doing. There's a lot that you can do with that. All right, so now since we went over that, let's go over another thing. It's basically like, I see a lot of people struggling with Garrus, and a few people have asked me to kind of go over that as well. So we're kind of go over that, and at the same time we'll also go over Serena, because they kind of like are doing the same thing. So we'll go over that as well, and then we'll have one more thing left. I lie. There's 2 more things we're going to talk about, but so yeah, let's get into it. Basically, low profiling is something that's very, very important in this game. Let's just get started off with like a basic one. So let's say somebody walks up and grabs you. You can't like low profile throws. Everyone knows this. You're going to get a throw counter, right? Now, one thing you can low profile is a lot of cameo attacks, because of their startup first off, and then also like how they are angled. You can do this with a lot of basically you're gonna have to find out if you have any low profile abilities. If I just had to name some off the top of my head, Johnny's nut punch, Raiden's low pokes here, pretty much almost every low poke if it has like good like duck properties on it, if that makes sense. And there's a few more, but basically you just got to go out and like find that out. But you can basically like low profile a lot of things. So let me just go ahead and do this, and then this. So I'm low profiling that because it's hitting up here, right? So you can honestly like negate this completely. Now it might be like, oh, hold on, it's just like you're doing it fast for them, so I'll do it like this. You're low profile. Again, I'm waiting for him to throw it out, and I'm low profiling that. So you can low profile his grab, and you can also low profile Serena's little thingamajiggers as well. Yep, so boom, boom. Wait till the third one comes out. I messed it up. Messed it up again, sorry. And then you can basically like make it to where you can low profile that last one, or you can honestly just, you can do something like that, or something like that, just so that way they don't, you know, have anything from it. But you have to find something that like can, like, you'd have to do something like that, so that, you know what I mean. There's ways to low profile things, but a good way to low profile and still punish on some characters is waiting for like a last hit. Me and my friend, we used to do this thing. And just to like be goofy, but there's all kind of things that you can do to low profile stuffs. But a good thing to do whenever it comes to low profiling as well is low profiling gaps for cameos, or just low profiling in general whenever you know there's a gap on a string. So let's say you have I actually don't know all of Garrus's gaps, so let's just pretend that what's the one I'm looking for? No. That could have a gap. That may have a gap. We'll find out. It doesn't. Okay. Let me check his moveset really quick. X, Y, Y, X, Y, Y, B. Let's try Y, B. No, we just did that one. That one definitely has to have a gap. I feel like it has to. Doesn't? Man, this character broke. All right. So let's just pretend that it had a gap, right? If it did have a gap, then you would basically like low poke right there. Let's just pretend for right now. So let's say that had a gap, you would low poke right after that, or low profile. So let's say again, if you're Johnny Cage, you just do your nut punch or whatever. But anything that low profiles, a good thing to start doing is actually going to slow profile where you know someone's about to do something that's unsafe or something that can be low profiled. There's a lot of situations where this happen. Again, you got to look out for like certain strings that are just like hitting high. It's like a high attack, but also even mids that just hit high enough to where you can kind of negate it if you low profile it, especially if it has like armor or something like that. Then it's going to be even more delicious. But let's also talk about just Garrus's grab in general, or how to deal with like grabs as a player. So we'll just do this, we'll walk, and then we'll do that, right? So you can just like, once you learn like his animation, it's pretty much whenever he opens his hands out, you can just automatically kind of, I did it wrong. I wasn't anticipating too much. I need to just react. You can just kind of like let go of block whenever you know the active frames are. And the reason why you could do something like this is because, again, one of the things we went over earlier, active frames. It's only active for one frame, which means if you can like unblock for that one frame, it loses all of its pressure, right? And then you immediately block again, so you can literally like be like, oh, I don't want to get opened up, hold on, and then punish, right? So once you like learn like certain things about throws, or just like throws in general, so for example, let me just sit him down. Throws have one active frame as well, so this is why we went over that tech that I told you guys about doing that right there in the part 1 video. If you do all of this together and you just realize that like certain things aren't active long enough, you can kind of like respect it for that one frame and then like negate it. So let's say Garrus is doing this. Hold on, what's his thing? Is it I'm looking for it. Is it this? Yeah, it's that one. Okay, that's the one it is. So this is supposed to be like one of his tick throws, right? Alright, so this, he can tick throw off of this. So if you do that and you try to like unblock, you can unblock out of that, right? So you only have to respect it for, again, wait till his hand's open and then like you go into your thing, right? So yeah, now let's say he doesn't tick throw it and he goes into the mid, right? Oh, I messed it up. I should have just kept it like that. But what's his next string? Yeah, that one. So we'll do that. Either way it goes, you're gonna be able to like get in that situation to where you can like do like that and then bam. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and set him to random hidden. Whoop. So now you basically, if you get the hit, you flawless block it, and if you don't get the hit, if he doesn't do it, then you're gonna make him whiff that tick throw anyway. So it's like, yeah, it's cool, but again, you can negate all of it by just simply doing that. So your let's see, what is this on flawless block? It's -7, or is it this one? Oh, let me see. I'll do another. I'll record. Yeah, it's forward Y. There we go. All right, sorry about that. So your forward 2, I said forward 2. I said forward Y. Your forward 1 into your Y, it's going to be -18. So you're going to flawless block that. So look at your flawless block advantage here. So it's not going to like make anything a little bit more negative, and even if it does hit, it's going to be -1. And then this hit here is going to be -15 on flawless block timing and -5 on just block. So let's actually go ahead and make him do this one as well. So bing, bing. I should do it like this. I don't know why I did it like that. All right. So now you just like autopilot like all of this, right? All right. right? Then you just autopilot all of it. So that string is actually like really trash once you get used to that. But this is what I mean when I wanted to say like active frames in this game really do matter, because if you don't know um what like how active something is, or if your opponent that you're going to get doesn't know how active something is, you can respect it for the few frames that it is active and then forget about it after that. So anything that's one frame of active frames, I mean, you can literally just like do that, like let go literally as quickly as I'm tapping this. I'll even go faster. That's every one of these taps is basically a frame, right? So if you just like unblock for that amount of time and you master that timing, you can legit like begin to option select a lot of one frame stuff. So that tick throw that he has is never going to be good, and it's only going to be good if like you're not like in knowledge of it. So that's really cool. Please do get that in your arsenal, especially for a lot of tick throws or just command grabs in general in this game. For example, there's another character who has him, Raiko. His command grab is a little bit better than Garrus's in my opinion, but you can still do the same tech with him because I'll just go ahead and show you here. And then we're gonna have two more things to talk about, and then we're gonna be done. All right, so I think it's yeah. This is just tick throw, or his command grab, should I say, not a tick throw. So we'll just go ahead and do this. So he has 2 frames, right? Which means it's gonna be a little bit better. So that means you have to respect that tick throw for 2 frames instead of just 1. Oh, actually it's 1 frame. Cool. So that's actually even worse. So yeah, same thing, literally the exact same thing, but I still do think that his grab is a little bit better than Garrus's, just because of how it works. Garrus has a little bit more utility, but his grab just is going to be a little bit more effective. But either way it goes, they do try to do it. All you got to do is just unblock for like that one active frame that it's going to actually be active, and once you find where it's active, it makes it to where you can't get opened up by mid, you can't get opened up by you're just gonna like autopilot a lot of that. So then it's up for them to like switch their timing up so that way they can like actually make it useful. And while they're doing all that delaying, again, active frames are, you know, advantage is constantly like it's alive, you know, time is actually happening. So while you're doing that and you're forcing them not to be able to have that as a mix-up, and they're going to have to start delaying and try to open you up, that means now you're just going to be plus. Now you can just like press buttons there, or you can still do it and then like go immediately into your pressure right after that. So there's a lot of option selects whenever it comes to starting to look at active frames for buttons and whatnot, whether it's in your favor or not in your favor. Now let's talk about how you can do a little bit of cool stuff with certain cameos in this game. Now, almost every like cameo has this ability, but not every character can do it, if that makes sense. But we'll talk about it. So we're gonna get this person to do get up mode on, and we'll put them on reverse mode as well. And we'll just put all of this on Enhanced Dragon. I think that's what I'm looking for. Nope. I never can remember what this thing is called. Let's see. Is it Dragon's Breath? It can't be Dragon's Breath. That can't be the name of it, is it? Dancing Dragon. That has to be it. I have no idea. I play this character and I still don't know what's his actual it has to be one of these though. Okay, it is Dancer Dragon. Cool. So let's say you have someone, give me one sec. Sorry about that. I had to do a big old sneeze. Let's say someone's doing their armor or whatever. You can use your Kameo to punish anything after a block or whatever. So let's say I'll set him to auto block, which means he's gonna be like basically trying. I'm not gonna set him to auto block. I'm gonna do it from out here. He's gonna be trying to punish, basically, right? Now, That's the timing I'm looking for. Right, so you can do something like that. Hold on. A little bit too late. There we go, that's the timing. Now you can basically like take away their armor, right? And then you can also like actually get a combo punish off of that. Like that. So yeah, that's basically using cameos to punish people for moving backwards, forwards, pressing any button, armor, no matter what. It's literally like don't do anything. Stop moving. You can do that with Striker very easily, but there are a lot of cameos that can do this. This is just like an ideal. This is basically like a very, very strong frame trap, because with Striker, this is the reason why Striker is a good cameo. I still call him top 4 in the game. People still don't see that, but watch my cameo video in depth if you don't believe. That's very strong, because that means like, hey, if you even try to poke right here, watch, I'll even set him to so we'll make him do get up or reversal, matter of fact. So we'll turn this off, and then we'll make sure this is on that, and then we'll make sure this is on that as well. So let's say I boom boom. Hold on. Boom. I messed it up. And again, you get that punish, right? So this is what I mean whenever I say that, like, you can like legit punish people for trying to poke or anything, armor, no matter what it is. And again, pokes are very, very negative this year, so like you can lead that into pressure. You can get a punish, try to punish that if you want to. There's all kind of stuff that you can do, so just keep that in mind whenever you're looking at like your cameos and what they can offer to the table. You can legit use cameos to punish anything after like they blocked in certain scenarios, and that's very important to know as well. Now let's talk about the last thing that I want to talk about, and then this video is going to be over. This here is very, very, very cool. So we're gonna let's actually do it like this. All right, we're gonna do that, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. I'll do a better button than that. Alright, so we'll do that, and then we'll do, let's see, that. Alright, so now we have a good bit of options put here. All of these are meant to like mix you up and kind of like put you in a situation to where you're gonna get opened up. Right? Just cool. I messed it up. I messed it up. My fault. I wasn't ready for it. See, I did it right there. I did it again right there. I messed it up right there. I messed it up right there. I did it too early right there. Hopefully you guys can see that it's like tech that works though. Just from like right there, that's one of them. That's another one. That's another one. That's another one. Alright, so now that's like a showcase, because I'm still like trying to master it myself, but hopefully that's a proof of concept for you guys that this does work. Now let me explain like what I'm doing. So basically what I'm doing is I am like pressing my RT. I'm holding my RT down, right? I'm letting go of RT to press X. Right, now notice what just happened, right? See how I let go of RT and I press X and my X didn't come out? If that was a throw, the throw is still going to be teched, but a button doesn't come out. And I just press RT again to respect whatever. So that way if he does a mid, I don't like have anything. So it's like you do it really quick, right? Like that. So you'll tech a throw and you don't have to get opened up for it, and a button doesn't come out, so that way they can't like shimmy you, they can't like whatever, right? And if you do it quick enough, like that, which you have to do this very quick, you're like input buffering together, like that. If you do that, makes it to where you can't get punished. Now the timing for this is very strict. That's a bad one. That's another bad one. That's the one that you're looking for. That's how you'll know if you're doing this right. If the button doesn't come out, then you're doing it right. So now let's go ahead and again showcase it like that, and then we'll showcase it like that, and then we'll also showcase it like oh, that was bad. Hold on. That, and then we'll showcase the last one here like that. I did it too early. I did it right there, right? I did it too late. I just didn't react to that. I held my X for too long. Now you can obviously like kind of like input buffer that as many times as you want. Like you can, or no, I'll actually just turn all these off for a sec. You can like as much as you want, like, but like that's like very like difficult to do without like getting a button to come out. But if you can do that very fast, like that, right? All of these are input buffered into each other. You can make it to where like you basically like don't like have to get opened up, right? So the quicker that you can do that, the better off you're going to be. Now again, like I said, this is stuff that I'm still like trying to master, so it's not the best showcase, but you guys do see that this is something that is very effective. It's obviously like something that you can do, especially whenever you're trying to tech throws. You can just like try to take a throw at their timing and make that really quick. Like literally how fast I'm buffering that into each other. So you're going to tech the throw. You're not going to get opened up. So if they do a mid, that's a bad one. So once you master that time, and you can legit option select throws at that point. Now you still have to guess. But if you mix that in with like my duck tech that I talk about in the first MK1 guy, mixing it in with this so they don't know which one you're going to do. So now you have two techs to beat the same option. So now you can just do like this, or you can like that. So I'll try. Let's see if I can get it. I probably can't. You can do it. It's just very like strict timing. Right there. You can do something like that, and that's very good. Right there. If you look at my inputs, that's the one that I'm talking about. If you can do that, then it makes it to where you'll tech the throw if you timed it bad, and if you time the duck correctly, then you're also going to like option select. So I actually show it with like the actual throw like actually being used. There we go. And then I can't believe I just did that. That's one I was looking for. I timed it a little bit later right there, but you guys get the concept. I messed that up very badly. Now, let me explain like why this is working again, so that way you guys understand what I'm talking about. So, the science behind it is this. The science behind it is this. Anytime you let go of block, it's kind of like, see how fast you can like, literally these are all frames, right? So as quickly as you can block and let go of block, you're going to be in what we call block stun. Now certain things are ignored during block stun, but because certain moves have like certain amount of active frames, for example throws have one active frame, if you let go of block for that one active frame, or you press the button for the active frame where it's actually hitting, you tech the throw. Now you can tech throws at frames outside of like their active, if that makes sense. So for example, I'll just go ahead and make him throw me here. You can react like early, like so. Hold on. And then it doesn't work, as you can see, right? You can react to it late and it doesn't work. But if you react to it at the frame that it's active, it's going to work. So again, if you like duck at that frame, right? Or you press as well at that frame. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Right there, it means that you're kind of like negating that like option right there, as you can see. Now, so if he delayed his timing, you're basically like option selecting on top of another option select. So let's say he did the same thing, but he did like this. Hold on, let me get it right. So he did like this, and he delayed just a little bit more. Like, so he walked a little bit more, right? You see what I'm saying? That was a perfect example. That was a perfect example. Hopefully you guys saw my inputs right there. So I did the tech and then I ducked again. So that way, because he delayed it just a little bit, it's like I did the tech for the throw, and because he delayed it, that button didn't come out, and I was still able to duck the second delay timing. This is like option select on top of another option select. This is very, very important. That's why I paused it, because I wanted to basically showcase it. I'll see if I can get it again. That's the one now. And again, you can like mix this up as much as you want. Like that. You can mix it up as much as you want, but the better you get at doing these little input buffers, the harder it's going to be for people to open you up. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this. I know I did go over quite a lot, but that's pretty much everything that I have for you guys. If you combine this tech on top of the tech that I was talking in my first video, I promise you guys, you're going to be god tier at this game. These videos are tailor-made to make a noob become a god in this game, because a lot of people don't know how to play the game. They just like fish for combos, and then they don't understand footsies. I go over footsies in the first one. I go over a lot of things in the first one. That's why it's almost 2 hours long, because there's so much that this game has depth wise. And the digger you deep into the more you dig into it, the better off you're going to be, because it's like it's a game where it's fun on the noob level, it's fun on the intermediate level, it's fun at the beginner level, it's fun at the highest level, and it's fun at the pro level. Because there's always something to learn. There's always some option select that you can learn. There's always something, if you sit there and you dive for it and you try to find it, it's gonna reveal itself to you. That's how you know a game is a good game. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the tech series. I've shown pretty much all the tech that I currently know. Now I'm gonna keep on labbing. I spend most of my time labbing anyway. So if I find some more tech, I'll make a part 3. But I'm going to start getting more into like the guides and that kind of thing now. So I'm going to start showing you guys more specific stuff for a character, or more specific stuff for certain cameos. I've kind of shown you guys a lot about Kung Lao. Hopefully I've made you guys see that Kung Lao is a beast. Hopefully I've made you guys seen that. And I think Kung Lao is the best cameo in the game right now, for multiple reasons. So if you're wanting like a tier list of some sort, I can do that in my own tier list that I believe. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the tech video, and hopefully it's making you guys better. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. It's Zuko, man. I'm out. Deuces.